Hey, welcome back. My name is Agnes Pompadoodle, and my puppy on the floor over there is James Earl Bones. And today we're going to discuss Season 4, Episode 3, Brutal Honesty. As the sister wives prepare for Kody's birthday, Christine tries to reconcile with Robyn by opening up about the problems she's had since Robyn joined the family. How will Robyn handle this brutally honest conversation? All right, let's get into it.
Welcome to the podcast, Sister Lives, a red flag rewatch. This is a podcast for disenchanted fans of Sister Wives, fans who fell in love with the Brown family, watched their precious kids grow up, and became enchanted with all the love, only to be told it was all a lie. Nothing was as it seemed. We were bamboozled, fooled, duped, tricked, conned, swindled, hoodwinked. What did we miss? Where did it go wrong? Come help me find out as we watch from the beginning.
Starts out, Logan is talking to all the little kids, and he says, "Are you guys ready to go?" He's talking to Aurora, Gabe, and Gwen, and Savannah. He's wearing a shirt that says Senior 2012. So it's actually his senior year right here. He says the most adult thing. The next sentence is very adult. He says, "Go get something to do in the car." He's taking them somewhere, and he's saying, "Go get something to do in the car." It's another way of saying, we're going to be in the car for a little bit. You need to entertain yourselves. Go get something to do in the car. A book, coloring book, something. Logan is very parentified in this situation here. He says Dad's birthday's tomorrow, so I thought we would just go to this craft store and buy a bunch of stuff to make gifts with, make Dad some homemade presents. Janelle says this year Logan has been more proactive about being involved with the little kids. I think he feels that he's leaving soon for college, and so he's really kind of trying to gather as much as he can before that happens. And it shows Logan, and he is walking in from the parking lot into the craft store, and he says, "Okay, all of you, come with me." And he's trying to walk all these kids across the parking lot. He says, "Where's Savannah?" He says this, and he's actually holding her hand. He's worried about Savannah because she's the baby in this situation. He's very dedicated here. I thought that was cute. He says, "What have I gotten myself into?" Because Gabe is literally climbing up this wall. He's driving Robyn's van. And I have this theory about that new pink car that showed up in the last episode. I think that's now Robyn's car. I really do. I think the Lexus is still Kody's car. And I think Robyn, because you see Christine driving Robyn's car, you see Logan here driving Robyn's car. I think Robyn's got that new car. I really do. You don't see her driving it, but that's my theory, because why is everybody driving Robyn's car? And where is Christine's van? Just think about it. Why isn't he driving Janelle's van? I think those teenagers got that van. I really do. So you see Logan trying to corral 6 kids in a parking lot. Logan says, "I'm probably going to leave the house within a year because college, I don't necessarily want to spend my entire life at home." They're in the craft store now. He says, "Go find what you want, but do not leave the building." He's very responsible. He says, "This seemed like a good opportunity to do something, the younger part of the family, because I won't be around with them much longer." He's helping the kids find stuff. Aurora says she's looking for football stuff because Dad loves football. Logan says, "I'm definitely wondering when I leave, what part of the family dynamic am I taking? What part did I fill in, and what's going to happen when I'm not part of it?" Logan knows he's a big part of being parentified and part of childcare, so he realizes that when he leaves, that's going to leave a void. Logan's paying the cashier, and he says, "Thank you very much. Thank you for your patience." He's talking about all the kids running around that girl's store. So that was very sweet of him. And as they're leaving, Gabe proceeds to try to crawl up that wall again. It's like a little partition half wall. He's trying to climb it. He says, "Stop it." Logan says, when we brought Robyn into the family and how it kind of shifted the dynamic around a little bit, "I'm wondering if this will do the same thing when I leave. I'll have to wait and find out." He's yelling at the kid, "Be careful, stay out of the road." Poor Logan. Christine says, "This year we're throwing Kody a birthday party. We probably plan Kody's party a lot more than we plan our individual wives' party." It shows them on the couch all talking about it, and Kody's sitting on the couch and he's not smiling. He's not acting appreciative. He's just acting like this is expected, that Christine said this, that we plan Kody's party a lot more than we plan the wives' parties. Robyn says, I think the biggest thing is like Kody's the common denominator for the family. We need to all have access to him on his birthday and be able to spend time with him. Whereas if it was a wife or a kid, Kody and his wife will go out for dinner rather than the whole family going with them. Kody says, to put it in a nutshell, each wife has her own birthday and owns her own birthday. Each wife also owns my birthday. He's almost complaining, like, what do you want, Kody? Do you want them not to fuss over you? If they don't fuss over you, you're gonna fuss. They are fussing over you, so you're upset about that. What do you want out of life, Kody? What do you want? He says, "Oh, I'm not complaining. It seems like they all have access to me on my birthday." You can't please this man. You can't please this man. If they did nothing, he would gripe. If they do everything, he gripes. What does he want? Christine says, why would we not want to have access to you? So they're at Meri's house and they're making gift bags for all the kids for Kody's birthday. And they're talking about what they're going to give Kody for his birthday. Janelle says, you know what? I feel like there's been a lot of years I've not done enough gift. I really want to make a good gift happen for him this year. Meri says, well, he needs a computer. He's been wanting one of those. His died. And Robyn's like, can we afford that? Meri says, well, that depends on how much we each put in towards it. Christine says, well, he likes watches. Meri says, yeah, but I wouldn't trust myself for picking one out for him. She says, guys are hard to shop for. There's not a usual standard way to do it. As far as what we do, we usually go together to get a gift for him. But sometimes we do our own things. We've done both. But he's a guy. I think it's pretty standard that he's a hard guy to shop for. And you notice that Janelle's not saying that Meri and Janelle are not helping with the gift bags. It's just Christine and Robyn kind of loading up those gift bags. And what they're doing is they're doing like gift bags for all the kids, which is fun. When my kids were little, you would make gift bags for all the people that showed up to the birthday parties. It'd be just like cheap little stuff, like candy and little plastic toys and little whistles and just fun stuff for the kids. Play-Doh and slime and stuff like that. I loved doing birthday parties when my kids were little. I loved it. I invited everybody we knew. I remember one year when Macy was 4 or 5, that's about when Facebook had come out and you could do Facebook events. Well, I invited everybody in my mother's or preschoolers group. And people to this day, they're not very good about RSVPing. I didn't know who was coming, what they were going to do, but I did a luau for her. Gave everybody the flower lays when they walked in the door, and we had little grass skirt. I had like 24 cupcakes, and I had like this Barbie. She was like a luau girl, hula girl, and she was sitting in the cake, and the cake was her dress. And I had watermelon and popsicles, and it's just like little snacks. 42 people showed up. Oh my gosh. And it was moms with their kids, and they were everywhere. I was like, oh my God. I invited the whole group, but half of them did not RSVP, and so many people showed up. I sent my mom to the grocery store to go get some more food, to go get more watermelons, to go get more popsicles. And I think everybody had a great time, but I only had like 24 cupcakes and I had that cake. Mom bought a couple of more like already made cakes. My gosh, I was so stupid. I was so stupid. But you know, sometimes you'll have a birthday party and nobody will show up because a couple weeks before that, we had bought our kids like this little blow up pool with slide built into it. And we invited a bunch of people over and 2 people showed up. And we were like, "Oh, okay. Well, that's, you know." And so when I invited a bunch of people this time, I was like, "Well, I hope somebody shows up." Oh my gosh, 42 people. I could not believe it. But it turned out okay. The kids had fun. We had a playroom back then, and they played in the playroom, and they jumped on our trampoline. We ended up setting up lawn chairs in the garage. I mean, people were everywhere. I could not believe that year, but anyway, I don't know. But we had gift bags. My daughter got so many presents that year, so many presents. And it was nice because I ended up putting the presents in a cabinet and then just kind of re-gifting them. But you just never know. But seeing them do those gift bags kind of brought it back up because following years, some years were good and some years weren't bad. You just never knew. And I think it's just an issue of RSVPing. It's like people just don't RSVP anymore. And a lot of times when people have young kids, they don't RSVP because they don't really know what's going to happen the day of. And so a lot of times people would RSVP like 2 hours before they showed up. But I like them putting together gift bags for the kids because I think gift bags at a birthday party are a good idea because then everybody gets something, especially kids. If they're just watching this one kid open up all these presents, that's not fun. They should get something too. But anyway, they ended up talking about getting him a computer. One podcaster brought up, I don't know if it was Corey and Carly from Surviving Sister Wives or somebody else, they brought up the fact that, remember when Kody was saying that one of the reasons he was always at Robyn's house was because she made an office for him? If the other wives had made an office for him, that he would have been over there more often. And this was in the cul-de-sac, and then this was in Vegas. And I think, well, maybe one of the reasons that Kody didn't like that computer is because a laptop is portable. It's portable. You could take it anywhere. And so right now he's probably working off a desktop at Robyn's house and he's using it as an excuse as to why he's always over there because that's where his office is. So if he has a laptop, that means he doesn't have an excuse anymore. He can go anywhere with that thing. He could go to Starbucks. He could go to Salsa Brava and sit there for 6 hours, which he does in the future. They had the fajita cantina in Lehigh and Salsa Brava and Flagstaff. I wonder where he went in Las Vegas. There is no telling. There's a ton of restaurants in Las Vegas, but that was one of the reasons that they thought maybe he didn't like the present because it meant something more than what they were saying, that he could be anywhere. He didn't have to be at Robyn's house. He could be anywhere. He's now portable. I have a laptop that I use. I have 3 different part-time jobs. I'm not gonna tell y'all what I do. Anyway, so I have a laptop that stays in my book bag. I use it for work. It goes everywhere I go. But I have one job that's like 55 miles away and I take it over there. I mean, having a laptop now means you could go anywhere. He could carry a laptop anywhere. Christine's house is 10 houses away. Janelle's house is a block over. Meri's house is a mile away. He can carry that laptop anywhere, anywhere. So they think that one of the reasons the computer didn't go over well was because of that. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. Christine says he gives us incredible presents. So I really love that idea. Meri says, are we able to do that? Christine says, I think I'm going to do it. I'm so excited to do this for him. Janelle says, all right, guys, I gotta go. She loves to be the first to leave. She doesn't have much patience. She don't want to put together no gift bags or talking about spending money on Kody. She's like, yeah, I got better things to do. Bye. She's out. And then the next thing is so sweet. And Christine is changing Truly's diaper and Truly talks. This is the first time we hear her talking. And in this show, she says, baby. And I took a little video of it just so you could hear it too. Here it is.
Solomon, you want to go see the baby?
Our baby?
Yes, our baby. Today I'm taking.
Isn't that so sweet? That's so sweet. I love that. So Truly's talking now. And Christine says, we're going to go play with Solomon and we're going to go see the baby. And Truly says, baby. Today I'm taking Truly over to Robyn's house and we're going to weigh the babies. We're going to compare Truly and Solomon because Solomon is quite big and Truly is quite small. And I think it's funny. And we're going to go out to lunch. I'm sort of looking forward to it, but I need to talk to Robyn. I need to have a serious conversation. I've had some struggles with her coming into the family and I know that I've hurt her in the process and it wasn't my intention to ever hurt her, which is painful to hear from her, considering she is the cornerstone of this family. It shows Christine walking up the street and she's carrying 2 bags, like a diaper bag and a purse. She's carrying Truly and she's pushing the stroller, which is hilarious. And I guarantee that Truly didn't want to be in that stroller. So now she's carrying Truly in 2 bags and pushing the stroller. She needs to put those bags in that stroller and carry Truly if Truly don't want to be in that stroller. But it's so funny to see people pushing strollers and carrying the baby. Anyway, Robyn says, I'm a little bit nervous about spending my day with Christine because some days I don't know where she's at. She could be struggling and it breaks my heart to know that someone else is struggling and having a hard time. Sometimes I can't do anything about it. We'll see how the day goes. So it shows them they're weighing the babies. He is 20 months old and she steps on the scale and she's 19 pounds. And Truly has shoes and a jacket on and she's got a little tutu on. And she's so cute. And then they're going to weigh Solomon. What they're going to do is they're going to weigh Robyn holding Solomon. and then they're going to get Robyn's weight and they're just going to subtract. So Robyn weighs 157 pounds, and that's her actual weight. And they figure out, weighing them together, that Solomon weighs 16 pounds. And Solomon is 3 months old at 16 pounds, and Truly is 20 months old and she weighs 19 pounds. And Robyn is 31 years old and weighs 157 pounds, which I thought maybe she weighed a little bit less than that. And that's one thing I've found over the years, is that looking at people, you never know how much they weigh. Sometimes people weigh a lot more than what they look like. So I would have thought Robyn would have been more in the 120, 130s, but she's 157. So I think she's just tall and she carries it well. And that's not a bad weight at all. I would love to be 157. That would be nice. But it shows them struggling with math, and they're trying to figure out math in their head. And I'm not very good at doing math in my head either, at all. I always have to have a calculator. But Christine calls Truly. She says, "Baby, you are petite." And Robyn says, "Yeah, Solomon's going to pass her up and become her protector. It's going to be so cute. I wouldn't be surprised." Christine's like, "Let's go to lunch. I'm hungry." It's been really nice that Truly and Solomon are around this same age, because if we have more kids, if we don't have more kids, at least they'll have each other. That's true. They're the last little group of kids. My last for sure. I am done. But you might have more. Robyn says, "Well, I might have more, and Meri might have another, so you never know." They're bringing up the whole surrogacy thing, which I have told y'all before. I do not believe that Robyn is going to be a surrogate at all. She didn't mean that crap at all. She knew Meri didn't want to have more kids, and she knew that if she offered this, it would put a wedge between Kody and Meri, because Meri would have to admit that she didn't want to do this, and Kody just wants to have more babies with Robyn. He don't want Robyn carrying Meri's baby. That's the furthest thing from his mind. So I think she just did it to just cause chaos. I really do. I don't think she had good intentions. But Meri says, right after Solomon was born, Robyn talked to me and offered to carry the baby for Kody and I, if I would like for her to do it. It was an amazing offer. Obviously, Kody and I have struggled in having more children besides just where I am. We've been married for almost 22 years. So, I mean, it was just an amazing offer of love and friendship, and I will be forever grateful for the offer. I don't know. So I don't know what I'm going to do. There's just a lot to think about, and I haven't made a decision yet. And that's what Meri says all the time. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know. And this is going to drive Kody nuts, because he wants to have more kids with Robyn, but Meri won't make up her mind. Robyn says, "Christine and I kind of have this bond now that we both have little kids, so sometimes we decide to just hang out together and go to lunch." And I wonder how often that really happens. But they're going to Market Grill Cafe, which is a restaurant that serves homemade Greek food. Robyn says, "I truly feel like it's always good to chat and talk and touch base. I think sometimes in plural marriage, you can kind of get in a place where you feel like maybe you're not understanding each other, or you're not quite sure where the other person's at. It's been about 2.5 years since Kody and I met each other, and I met the family, and we've been courting, and we got married, and things have been a little bit rocky between Christine and I, and I think just because she has perceived me as maybe coming in and throwing off her marriage with Kody." So she says 2.5 years. I think it was way longer than that. I really do. I told y'all my theory, my last episode that I did. I was a little bit angry. But anyway, my theory is that they had a sexual affair for a few years before, and the wives knew that, and that's why they were disagreeing with Robyn coming in the family at all, because they knew the circumstances. Anyway, so Christine says, "A new wife coming into a plural family always shakes it up a little bit, and I've never experienced a new wife coming into the family. I was the last wife for 16 years. I really didn't think I'd get jealous. I've always been a very secure person. I'm secure in my relationship with Kody. I really didn't think anything would rock the boat. Kody met Robyn 2.5 years ago, and it's still hard. Do you remember the first time you met everybody?" Robyn says, "Yeah." Christine says, "I fell in love with you guys. I really wanted this so bad. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to sell our family to her." Robyn says, "Yeah, you did a good job." And Christine says, "I was the most secure person. I didn't think I would get jealous. I didn't think that mine and Kody's relationship would ever be bad, because our relationship was always good." And Robyn says, "There's been times when I've sat and I thought, I don't know how you guys let me in." Christine says, "Well, I knew you belonged to the family, but then I got really jealous, so jealous." And Robyn says, "I've had a hard time dealing with their struggle with me, because they all accepted me. If they hadn't wanted me in the family, all they had to do was say no to Kody, and he would have dropped it. And so when they're struggling, they chose this and they agreed to it. It's very hard for me to not think that somehow it's me and that they just don't like me, period. It's a confusing thing for me. And Christine is talking to Robyn now, and she says, I want you to know that during all of it, it was him I was having a hard time with. It wasn't you, it was Kody. I just felt left. Robyn says, well, why do you think he left? And Christine says, because I became jealous and it changed our relationship. I started questioning what he was doing. Why did you need to go? I don't get that. Still, I'm like, I don't really care because at some point you promised you'd be with me through thick and thin, and you're not being with me, and that's not okay. So I just expected more of him. Robyn starts crying. Cry number 20. Cry number 20. Season 4, episode 3. She's crying because Christine's apologizing to her. Robyn says, I couldn't tell. I always figured it was me. And Christine says, well, I'm sorry you thought I didn't like you. That's horrible. Robyn says, I talked to my mom. What do I do with this? My mom said, it's not personal, honey. Christine's struggle with you is not personal to you. It's just your position. And you can't take what she does personally. You just have to love her through it. And Christine says, well, that had to be hard. Robyn says, I didn't marry Kody just for Kody. I remember in the beginning when you and I would kind of hang out a little bit, I was really excited. When you got to a place where all of a sudden I could see that you were having a hard time, it kind of made me sad because I want a relationship with you. And Christine said, yeah, me too. Robyn says, I really do. What Christine is saying here is that she's mad at Kody because Kody basically sucked at managing time. He was okay with managing all three of them till Robyn showed up, and then he just quit trying altogether. So that's why she was mad at Kody, and I don't blame her. She was just disappointed in him. She says she wasn't mad at Robyn, but here's the thing. If Robyn was a good sister wife, she would have insisted that Kody do better. She would have been like, you sure are over here a lot. Don't you need to be with your other wives too? Why don't you go back and spend some time with them? She never did that. She never did that. She didn't make it to where she was visiting and courting the family. She made it to where Kody had to drive 5 hours to her house and be away from his family for 2 and 3 days at a time. She made it to where he had to spend time away from his whole family. When Christine's saying, well, I was mad at Kody, she's got to be mad at Robyn too. Robyn enabled Kody. She made it to where he wasn't spending time with his family. She was pulling him away from his family. And instead of courting the whole family like they say they're supposed to, she was pulling him away. So when Christine's sitting here apologizing to Robyn, every time she's done this, she has done this 2 or 3 times already. She's just trying to keep sweet and do the right thing and fix her relationship with Kody, but it's never going to work. It never works. There is nothing Christine can say at this moment that is going to get Kody back on her side. Nothing. But she's still trying here. It makes me feel sad for Christine. It's almost like she's a whooped child that's apologizing for something she did. Christine says, I know when you first come into the family, one of the sisters said, so is Robyn going to be your bestie? I said, yeah. And then that just didn't happen. Robyn said, well, that's what I want. I want a good relationship with you. And Christine said, so do I. Robyn says, I felt like it really was good to talk. I felt like she needs to be reminded that I love her. And I know for a fact that Christine is working for this. And it really probably has nothing to do with anything I did or said or just my existence, just my position and where I'm at and that I'm here and they're not right now, which meaning she's the favorite and they're not. Christine says, so for a while I felt like Robyn was the enemy, and now I realize she's not the enemy and she has my back and she loves and cares for me. She wants the best for mine and Kody's relationship. She honestly wants it to succeed. I realize how important it is to let her in and trust her and build a better relationship with her. To which I say, oh my God, that's painful. She said, that's important to me. Even if she wasn't my sister wife, I would totally want to be her friend. And you notice in all of this, Robyn didn't apologize for anything. Did you hear her say she was sorry about anything at all for any role she may have played? The whole thing didn't feel genuine to me. I don't think that Christine really meant it. I don't think that Robyn can ever apologize for her role in anything. Her and Kody are equally yoked. Remember Janelle said that one time? They are equally yoked. They are not accountable for anything. You never hear them say that they are truly sorry for something they have done. And Christine did not have to do this. I don't know. I would have been a bitch sister wife. I've been like, oh, your feelings are hurt, Robyn. That sucks. I hate that for you. The kids miss their dad. You think you could send my husband back over? That would be great. I mean, I would just be a bitch. I would be a horrible sister wife. Janelle says, before we got ready for Kody's birthday party, Christine and I wanted to get some studying done for our real estate exam. And Christine says, I feel like I'm back in college again with all these books. When we first came to Las Vegas, I didn't really ever expect to pursue real estate. And through the process of kind of talking it over, we thought, gosh, that's a great fit for us. And our vision was that it would be several of us doing it together. And just like I told y'all, Christine says, Kody had full intention of doing the real estate until he saw the book and he's like, I've never been one to study. I've always thought that there's something else going on with Kody as far as his education, like maybe he's got some sort of hidden problem like dyslexia or something. Studying for a real estate exam, I don't think it's very easy. And if you look at their workbooks, they have all these workbooks with problems and stuff. And he was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. If you asked him right now why he didn't do real estate, he'll say, well, there were better offers that came along that made more money, and that's why I didn't get into real estate. And he just told all his people back in his hometown that he was getting into real estate, and he didn't. He didn't. He was gonna do it, and then he just didn't want to study that hard. And Christine says it here. Neil says, I think they were all interested in real estate, but then when the marketing company came along, he felt like it was more of his skill set. Then we started to pursue the marketing business. Janelle says, and then Christine, you were saying, I don't know, maybe you want to do interior design. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So the idea of real estate team sort of diluted. At that point, it just cemented in my mind that this was something I could do for myself, and I no longer had to wait for everybody. It shows them studying. And Christine says, I know that you didn't think I was serious about real estate, and honestly, I backed off of it because I got the book in the mail, and it's huge. And I start reading, and I feel like a complete idiot. Then I thought, you know what? I'm a smart girl. I can figure this out. I picked it up again, and so now we're independently pursuing it together. They're having a party at Janelle's house. It shows sweet Savannah, my sweet Savannah. She's pulling all of her money out of her piggy bank to give to Kody. It looks like they're having like a taco salad type buffet thing. Janelle says, we're getting ready to have Kody's birthday party here. The whole family's coming. I wasn't that involved with more than just decorating and making sure the place was clean for the parties. The party's coming to me here. Everybody's just going to have dinner and hang out, and then the little kids have made projects for their dad. We kind of splurged and got Kody a nicer gift that I think he's going to be really excited about, so I think it's going to be fun. It's always nice to just have an evening where we chill and hang out. It shows Savannah. She's putting a paper crown on Kody's head, and Kody says, do I have to wear this all day? Say thank you, Kody. Good grief. You're such a butt. Then he proceeds to check himself out in his phone. Yes, Mother Trucker, you have to wear it all day. Savannah put it on your head. It's mandatory you wear it all day. Say thank you. And Janelle says he's turning 44 this year. Somehow that sounds really old. Kody says, I enjoyed spending time with my family. Kids were cute with the presents. Even Gabriel, they're all so excited about their scrapbooking gift to Dad. It shows him opening up all of the presents, and they're all like little homemade gifts that they made. And I had the funnest experience with my gifts from my children. They've got kind of a creative streak. You get this piece of paper that they drew a special picture on. It's so sweet. And I bet he was having a hard time getting through all those gifts, acting like he was interested. And poor Savannah's feet are so dirty. All of their feet sometimes are so dirty. And you just need to get that baby some house shoes. The thing is, in my house, I have all tile in my house. If you don't wear shoes or some sort of house shoes, your feet are going to get dirty. So everybody kind of wears socks or house shoes in my house, because you can't keep your floors totally clean all the time. And we even have like a little robot Roomba. Her name's Rosie. Remember Rosie from the Jetsons? She makes her rounds around our house all the time, and she even has a mop feature. And she is constantly cleaning those floors. But if you don't wear house shoes or some sort of socks, your feet still get dirty. So um, I don't think it has anything to do with their house and how clean it is. I think it's just Savannah and having bare feet and running in and out of the house all the time. So I think having dirt on your feet makes you healthier. Anyway, you see poor Savannah's feet and they're just dirty, dirty. Kody says, I honestly think Savannah has a very generous disposition and she brings me basically all the money in her piggy bank. It's $4 or $5 in change and dollar bills. It was so fun and so sweet. They show Kody opening up his computer and he says, it's a computer, it's cool. And I thought he looked okay. I thought he looked like maybe he did like it, but they're saying no, that he was very disappointed. Christine says that wasn't the reaction we were hoping for. Kody says at the party, he says, I'm so excited. And Meri says, well, you've been wanting one though, right? But you didn't look happy when you opened it. And Kody says, well, I went to how can we afford this? And now I have to go to work because a laptop is all about a job. And I wanted a fun gift. What are you, like 8? Good God, Kody. And this is the thing. He says, how can we afford this? And so let's talk about this. He seems down. And I think the problem is because now this is January. Kody's birthday is like January 18th. I thought it was the 17th because that's what the internet says, but Meri says no, his birthday's on the 18th. But just a month ago, they spent a small fortune on Christmas. They did. They spent a lot of money and they're all got new cars. And he got a $2,500 gun at Christmas. Everybody kind of got some jewelry. Remember, Christine got jewelry and Meri got her melted down rings into a necklace, and that cost money. And so now it's his birthday, which is like 2-3 weeks later. He gets a laptop, which this laptop at that time in 2012, this is when this was filmed, was $2,244, this laptop. And he just got a gun 3 weeks before that was $2,500. I'm wondering now if Kody's not a little down because after Christmas, when you spent too much money and you're like, crap, I think that time is setting in. Like, we have blown through our money. How are we going to afford all this? And this is why he's kind of down about it because he realizes that they spent way too much money and they're still spending way too much money. I think that's why he's down about it. And I also think he's down about it because this means that he can't use the excuse that he has to be at Robyn's house because she has an office. And then he says, I wanted a fun gift. I bet you if he got another gun, he would have been happier. You're just a child. You just need to grow up. I think he kind of faked his way through all those kids and their homemade gifts. Savannah handed him like $4.50. He spent all this time trying to be pleasant and open all these presents and act interested. And then they gave him a computer, which is not very fun, but he's just a child. He just needs to grow up. And Meri says, oh, is that the equivalent of giving us a vacuum on our birthday or something? It's better than that, right? Kody said, yeah, it's better than you guys getting a blender or a vacuum, which I have never done. I have never gotten them a vacuum or a toaster for their birthday. Was I flat when I opened the gift? Janelle said, I was surprised. I expected, because you've been talking about needing one for so long, I guess I expected more of a, oh, great, I needed this. And Robyn says, I kind of knew that Kody didn't want a laptop completely for his birthday. I knew it wasn't going to be fun for him, but he needs it. And do you think Robyn, come on. Come on. She's like, I knew he wouldn't like it. Well, where was you when they were sitting at that table making gift bags talking about what they were going to get Kody for his birthday? You didn't say a dang word when they all agreed they were going to go in together and get a computer. And she didn't say a word, but she kind of knew. She says it now. She is infuriating. Sit down, shut up, heifer. She never said a word about it. She didn't know nothing. And Kody says, ladies, was a wonderful gift. And Christine says, well, he's really picky. He's really picky. He really just wants the most expensive, ridiculous things out there. And we get him the most expensive thing. They probably sacrificed their budget because they thought he might want this. He needs to be a little bit more appreciative. Christine says, I'm done. From now on, we're going to do it like we used to do. He's going to buy himself a birthday present and give it to me and say, here, I got this for me. Give it to me and wrap it. And we're going back to that. And then they have like 3 homemade cakes, which were cute. And they put candles on all the cakes. Kody tries to blow out all the candles, but he didn't have enough breath for 3 different cakes. And Peyton and Dayton have grown. They have really grown. They have gotten really big. That's the end of that episode. That episode was basically Christine apologizing to Robyn again. Good God. And Kody not appreciating his $2,200 computer that they got for him. I think because he's still having buyer remorse from Christmas. It's just infuriating because Christine is over here groveling and Robyn doesn't say she's sorry for her part in it or nothing. She's just sitting there crying about it, being such a victim. This is the end of the episode where I come up with my tell-all question. My tell-all question is for Christine. Today, present day, right now. Did you really mean all that stuff you said to Robyn and that you didn't blame her, that you were only mad at Kody? And a couple episodes before this, she had cross-stitched the whole thing for Robyn and talked about how sorry you were. We just want you to know that we hated all that for you, Christine. That was hard to watch. It really was. It was painful because I personally feel like that something happened. Christine is acting like a whooped kid who got in trouble and is just trying to make it right. What happened, Christine? What happened? Who said what? And what exactly did they say? The rest of us, we felt like that you were just pointing out the obvious and that you were just saying Kody is doing this, this, and this, and we don't appreciate it. And you got in trouble for that. And that's not fair. That is not fair at all. And we just want to know what was said, what was done that made you grovel like this. Can you tell us what happened? What happened? All right. So that's it for that episode. And I appreciate y'all listening to me. And I'll see y'all next time.
That's it for today. If you like my podcast, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to reach me, you can always reach me at redflagrewatch@gmail.com. Thank you for joining me today. See you next time.
How do you fix a broken pumpkin? How do you fix a broken pumpkin with a pumpkin patch? A pumpkin patch. All right. You're welcome. See you next time.